That's a better way of saying it. American or not.
Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute. Hold on, bro. No, wait. I got something else for us to talk about. And this is something that's going to, I'm intrigued to hear what you think about this. We looked up slavery boat manifest, bro. And we found a treasure trove of slave ships with the captain's name, the date they took off, where they got the slaves from, where they dropped them off at, how many died on the trip. Every fucking thing that you would want to see from a slavery manifest was there, and it was fucking 2,468 internet pages of them. Am I lying?
Nah, we did see that.
Motherfucking flying. Now listen, somebody might have just made that shit up. But whoever did is a fucking beast. Make up all them fucking passages.
Nothing is believable.
Man, bro, that shit, and it was written, that shit old as fuck.
I got a question. Do you believe it?
It's compelling evidence. I don't know if I believe it, but with all the history that they've taught, plus they got that, it backs up some of their shit. Now, I don't know if somebody conjured it up to make the lie more believable. That's
what can we believe?
Too,
how do you decide what to believe?
What can you believe, though? Like, what else you gonna believe? Some shit that we just made up not that long ago?
Like, if you can't believe documentation, then we can't believe nothing. Is this your book?
Right.
I don't know. Did you make that up?
Right. What are we saying? Don't believe the newspaper articles.
No.
Okay, so they say the last slave ship arrived on the shores of the United States in 1860. They said, and they say slavery was the largest thing that, at that time was the largest thing. But but the camera was invented in 1821 or 23 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And you can't find an authentic picture of a group of people.
Yeah,
you can.
You can't find a picture of an actual boat because there wasn't no ship then, wasn't no motors. But so you couldn't find an authentic picture of anything. Everything is drawn.
It's CGI, Photoshop, fucking animation. Damn.
What else can you see from that time period?
They got old cars and they got old slave pictures.
They got pictures. They got statues.
They got old slave pictures.
They got statues from they like got
Have y'all
black.
ever been to a
What's the oldest picture? So he said cameras came out in 1820. They didn't stop doing slave ships until 1860. But 1860 sounds a little late for slave ships to be pulling up.
Yeah, 1860.
That in like 17.
17.
I'm about to.
1860 was the last ship that sailed. It was the Brazil. That's what the name of the ship was.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you done researched it because I know you know what I'm saying. That's a good point.
Supposedly, it 1860. It was right
I'm gonna send you. I want to send you a link to this website and all them documents, and I'll let you go in and debunk it. But that shit looked like it looked like some census records type shit,
So what is the Catilda?
The Catilda.
I know. And where did they find that ship at?
They never found it. They trying to lie and say that they found something and things like this, but that didn't involve. They never found it.
It said it wasn't uncovered. So you believe half the part of the article, but not the rest? It says the article. It says it remained hidden for years, but then they found it uncovered in Alabama. In the swamps in Alabama.
But what I'm saying is this: if slavery was as large as they say,
Yeah.
Well, they got the shit. So what they need a picture for? They got actual shit.
Listen. I'm saying if slavery was as large as they say it was, and it was the number one source, and it built the country, it did all this, you will have a picture of some boats that brought these group of people would have a picture of them coming off the boat. It'd be some type of picture because it's a picture of everything else. And it, just like they show, they supposedly show pictures of slaves, and you can get pictures and whatever. And so I'm just saying, how come?
It ain't even really that many pictures of slaves out there in the field working. Have you ever seen something like what? Pictures of slaves out there in the
Slaves in the field working. Man, I think slavery was more so like the penal system is now.
You are crazy.
That's what I think. And I think they had companies that had slaves. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like these companies that grew cotton and stuff like that. And then I think they enslaved the Native American people that was here when they came over here, and they was warring with these tribes, because they went to war with these tribes and they wiped out tribes, and I'm talking about like whole tribes, they extinct languages that they spoke has been extinct
Put them in
because-
boarding schools.
because these people
Get rid
spoke
of
these
them.
different languages and they didn't write them down. They didn't have a system of writing. So it's like they wiped out these tribes and wiped out these languages and stuff, and they write about it. They write about all this shit. So it's like they enslaved these people. They were enslaving those people and shipping these people to England and to Britain and to South America to work. And that's what they talk about. Like they wrote all this shit down.
Right.
And then it's like whole tribes on the East Coast, on
Why are you saying
the
that,
east
though?
side of Mississippi, because this is what I think the slave trade came from. And then when they started, because it was a campaign to kill the Indian, and then they switched it to kill the Indian, keep the man. That means don't kill this dude. Let's just Americanize him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they switched the campaign to that, and they started. Then that's when they started doing what Phil was talking about, is basically taking the paper whooping them. You know what I'm saying? Then they started registering Indians as in the census, counting them as Negroes.
Negroes and black.
Yeah, and then they changed the Negroes to blacks.
Says who?
Says that it's in the Congress. That's the record of that. Like you can go back and
Said
see.
they changed Native Americans' names to Negroes.
In the census, they was counting them as, they was putting them down as Negroes instead of Native Americans, and then you had the chiefs and stuff going to Congress and going to their Senate people that they supposed to talk to and protesting this and saying, like, y'all keep wanting us to come in to the system and y'all counting us as, or calling us Negroes, and we're not Negroes. It's a chief in Georgia.
But let me ask you
And
this: Are you saying that what typically people believe as a Negro, which is a black person, can't be the same thing? Okay, that can't coexist with a Negro Indian.
There was no such thing as a Negro Indian.
I know that. What I'm saying is, I don't know how to ask the question. What I'm saying is, kill the Indian. Let's clump them in with these other Negroes.
Yeah.
That's not possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying happened. I'm saying that happened. No, I forgot. I didn't say that.
You
I
understand
do.
what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Africans
They
was
They had
They all
Africans
Negroes.
over here. They said they had Africans.
Exactly. Basically.
Yeah, and they said they had Africans over here also as slaves. They brought Africans over here,
Well, we know that.
And-
'cause the
right.
slave shit manifests.
and and then they was enslaving the
We also
the natives
know that because people have.
and mixing the natives with them.
We also know that because people like Madam C.J. Walker's people, her parents were slaves. Her grandkids and her family are still living, and they still talk about their mother and what their ancestors have told them. So when we negate things that have happened, what we're
Yeah.
doing is shitting on people who actually went through this in their family. Like, can you imagine if your great grandma, great whatever, passed down to you and you hear somebody talking like slavery wasn't that? How you what?
So I got a question here. Let's the court on this.
Okay.
So how do you feel? Well, how do you think our ancestry feel when we say they've been kidnapped, taken from some place, took to another place, couldn't read, couldn't write, couldn't
They could, but not in the king's language in written form. But they could read and write. They just couldn't read and write in a different language. But go ahead.
either way. So what I'm saying is this: when we call them slaves, and we say that they were illiterate, they were this, they couldn't speak the language or something, you know that's not disrespecting our ancestors.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you why.
Saying that it's different. It's not. I think it's this. It's no disrespect. So please don't think this.
I don't feel disrespected.
Okay, so this is my thing. So I feel like if you haven't done your genealogy and your lineage, you cannot just put yourself in a group with other people speaking their so-called truth, and you think that their so-called truth is your truth as well.
I never said that.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not attacking you personally. I'm saying that I feel that if you haven't done the steps of genealogy and your lineage and found out, you know, where your people come from, who your people are, not ancestry, genealogy, and to really see that our ancestors is the ones who developed everything will matter.
Yeah, because you don't want people to push their stuff on you. Don't push it off on them.
And I encourage a lot of people to do their genealogy, and everybody that's on their genealogy can say that what I'm saying is we wasn't slaves.
Your genealogy, y'all wasn't slaves. Well, let me answer one of your questions.
People do it, and that's why I said we.
Oh, okay.
It became plural. So that's what I'm saying in general.
How many people?
Hold on, let me answer. I do want to answer this. I want to answer that question about how my ancestors were killed.
At least 10 black people in there, and they wasn't
From different families.
From different families. They wasn't that. A lot of them realized that they had businesses that been abandoned. They had land that been abandoned, and they taking the proper steps to take back what was their ancestors. And it's also a movie or a show on Prime. I think it's called Silver Dollar Road.
It's called what, bro?
Silver Dollar Road.
Silver Dollar Road. Road. Like a street.
It's about a family that had land. They had a bunch of land.
Is it a fictional story?
And they were trying to take that, and these young guys were, you know, and they went to jail. They was trying to do everything to get them to just throw their hands up on the land. But their ancestors own that land. They own that land. And that's why we're trying to tell people in general.
So is this abandoned land, or this was something that somebody was now occupying and they gonna kick them out and then take it over?
They were trying to kick them out and take it over. They were trying to do valuable land. So I think, and another thing that I want people to do, look up these tribes of these Native Americans that, you know, look up these tribes and look at the network of these tribes. They've been getting reparation. It's just that we're not trying to do it because we keep saying that we're something else than what we are.
Well, if you do your genealogy, why don't you just take it and prove that you are and get your dollars? You can't do that? No, I'm for real asking. That's you gonna get my
That's a
money?
good question. Why can't you just take your genealogy results, or why can't we take our genealogy results and then get the reparations? What all do we have to do?
Because they go and they classify them as Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Then if they classify them all, how are they getting it? Because they were classified as a Negro too. But I need to go back to answer your question about disrespect.
Yeah.
Because I don't disrespect my people. When something happens to somebody or a group of people that happens to be negative, then they are not, you don't victim shame them as people say now. You don't say, I'm not going to claim that happened because it was bad. So I don't think they would think I was being disrespectful. I think they would be happy that in some people's genealogy, the truth is being told so America can be exposed for what colonizers are.
Yep.
And so we're worshiping a group of people who have literally stolen, taken, and built their generational wealth off the backs of other humans. So I think my people, me personally, would be like, that's what's up. Tell our story. Just like the Jews are happy to tell their story about the gas chambers and all that, because they want people to know the things that have happened to them and what they have endured.
Yeah. Hey.
Let me ask you this, bro. How long have you came on the realization that you are native and your descendants aren't from Africa?
Probably the last 3 years is when I went down that genealogy rabbit hole.
Okay, and so before that, when you thought that your descendants was from Africa, you descended from a slave, did you feel ashamed of that? Who were you ashamed to? Who did you feel ashamed in front of?
It's a shameful history, and it's not really.
In your opinion.
Let me ask you this though. So, if you are a slave, right, and you overcome slavery, and you become an empire yourself, what's a better story, that or if you just slave somebody and used them and abused them, and then they still end up catching up with you and surpassing you?
But I don't know. That's a tricky question. I don't know.
My opinion. Let me give you my opinion. I think that it's the story where you overcome is a more triumphant story. And I think that that's exactly what we are in the midst of. Slavery, no slavery. Even if we counted down and we fucked up, even like if we was slaves, and now we sitting here chopping it up, digging, soul searching, doing much more than any other group of people I know. Like black people, we be fucked up on some shit. But bro, we are constantly looking to improve ourselves and trying to figure out what better that we can do. And so I don't think that it's anything for you to be ashamed of that you was a slave, because you are, I'm not saying that you were, but if you were, it's nothing, it's not anything for you to be ashamed of, because we overcame at least that portion. Oh. And now we're working on a lot.
So look, what was the
Was you ashamed of being?
I'm not ashamed of being. No, I was asking him. What was the law about? In 1865 when they freed the slaves?
Yeah.
So how does he explain that? Like, how does he explain that law? What was that? What was that? The amendment, the 15th amendment, the 14th amendment?
Which one? The slavery, eradicating slavery.
Yes. The Emancipation.
The original Constitution.
Yeah, the Emancipation Proclamation.
The original Constitution did not count.
Okay.
And not one. See, that's the thing what people don't understand. If you read the law, just the law. The law have no color and it have no gender. It only deal with people. It don't deal with color. Don't deal with gender. It tell people read the.
So what does it deal with? Tell us.
I'm trying to. If you read the actual law and proclamation, it never states color. It never states. It don't do that. I don't know why we adopt it and think that automatically represents us and did this and that's not true. It's just not true.
So who are the slaves that they speak of?
Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, that's what I'm asking. When they saying slaves in the Emancipation Proclamation,
whoever was enslaved.
Well, but so that's what I'm saying. So is he acknowledging that? Is that true or false? Like, because it mentions slavery in the Emancipation Proclamation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if that was freeing the slaves, then how then can he say there were no slaves?
Slavery is the same thing as employment. It's the same thing.
Oh, that's so sad.
That's not the same thing, bro. So
what is the difference between the two?
The difference is working for free and working for money.
No, the difference is no. Wait a minute.
becoming
Wait a
property,
minute. Wait a
being
minute.
somebody's
Wait a minute.
property,
Wait a
and not
minute.
being somebody's
I'm gonna
property.
tell you the difference. To me, you can quit a job, bro. You cannot quit being a slave. You will get murdered, beat. You have no right to leave. That's the difference to me. Now, you can say that slavery, they ate and lived in the houses for free, so that's a form of payment. I think that that ain't right. I mean, a man should be able to earn money, you know what I'm saying?
And progress and want better for themselves.
Exactly. You know, and so I think that it's disingenuous to say that employment and slavery is the same thing, bro. Like, it's not like it. I'm talking about slavery as being described now. Maybe once you start saying it wasn't like that and da 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 da, that moves the points closer together. But just as we visualize slavery, as the image of slavery that's in everybody's mind that we say that wasn't real, that is not like an employment.
So wait, let me try to understand what you're saying. So you're saying that the slavery that they was talking about in the Emancipation Proclamation was the employment?
Because why do you have to emancipate an employee?
That was a term that they used. First of all, it wasn't even called slavery. That's the new, that's the spin we put on. Back then they called it indentured servitude.
That's not what it says in the Emancipation Proclamation. It don't say indentured servitude.
Now,
It says all persons held as slaves, not indentured servants.
It says slaves.
all right. This is what I'm saying. It was the same thing. If you never heard nobody from back then say,
What was the same? What was the same?
So hold on, wait.
Have you ever heard somebody say I was employed back then? White, black, whatever.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yes,
I hear
yes.
people
Yes,
say-
people work for people all
I
the
hear people
time.
say that's my boss.
Yeah, we hear that.
Employment.
Yeah, they say where are you employed?
Well, they might not have used the word employment, but just like words, just like words progress, just like things progress, words do too, and they take on different definitions as we progress as a society. So they might not use the term, I had an employer, but they might say I had a boss.
And they say I work such and such.
I
I
work-
work here. I work there.
I work
They
on
say
such
I
and
have-
such farm.
They gonna go through the whole word of saying like I'm employed at such and such, or employment.
Because who knows when that word became a part of the English language?
So, but and then too though, an indentured servant, an indentured servant had a certain time
And they could
to
be
work, and then they could be free. But the Emancipation Proclamation was something to free the slaves. So that's the two differences. So if you was an indentured servant, you didn't need an
And you didn't get
Emancipation
free
Proclamation.
in emancipation. You still had to be that indentured servant until you worked off your crime.
Right.
Right, and you didn't get free. Right, under the Emancipation Proclamation.
And digital servants still had to finish out their term.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you this.
If you're a district server, can you just quit?
No, because you paid a crime, so you got to pay the time. It wasn't a prison.
Or you're working there for money, like you doing it to come up a little bit
To
better.
pay your debt off. That's the way you pay your debt off.
Right. So my thing is this: how did so-called slaves buy their freedom?
They didn't buy it.
Well, some did
Yeah,
because
some.
they in slavery they didn't make the slaves work on Sunday so they could find little odd jobs. Masters used to let their slaves that was handymen go and work on other people's property and stuff like that and earn money for themselves. No, not for free. They would contract out their slave and then pay them.
Depending on the slave master, could have been free.
But no, most of the
To pay off my debt, pay off the slave master's
But
debt.
that's how
depends.
they bought their freedom. The people that
Yeah.
got the money, that's how they got it. And they saved that shit for years and then was able to buy their freedom from their masters. That's how the ones did it.
Let me ask you a question, Phil. So, I'm a believer that there were already melanated people
In America.
in what we call as America before Europeans came over here. So, why can't both be true? Why can't the 10 people who did their ancestry with you understand that they're originally from here, and another person who did their genealogy can't be from Africa? Can't both be true? Can't they have enslaved?
It can be true. It can be true, but see, the only reason I encourage genealogy because a lot of times the people that haven't done their genealogy or their family
Yeah.
is the ones that's promoting the slave story extra, like that's what happened.
So what if their genealogy is just by their word of mouth in their family?
How is the genealogy performed that you're talking about, and how far does it go back?
It go back all the way to the 15. You can go back to the 1500s. You can go back to as far as your lineage let you.
And
genealogy basically tells you this. It tells you
How do you do it?
No, we know what it means. We're saying like, how is this genealogy test that you're doing performed?
I'm just going back with names. I got names. I got areas, locations.
Are you doing it through census records, birth certificates? I'm saying
birth certificates, census records, marital records like marriage license,
yeah,
certificates.
Okay,
I mean,
and so I get it. You're doing it with documents.
Yeah, everything is everything is documents, and then.
But those documents
This
don't
could
go
be
back to the 1500s. Those documents don't even go back to the 1700s. Those documents only go. Those type of documents, the documents that you just named, does not go back that far. They only
And
go back
slaves
about 200 years,
Their marriages weren't legal.
if that.
So you telling me that I don't have documents that's going back?
No, I'm saying you don't have those type of You don't have birth certificates that's going back to the 1700s.
I didn't say that the documents. I'm just saying those are different ways that you can do
Oh.
genealogy. Of course, you can go back because family trees work a lot too because it tells you who this person came from this person. You can look at the name.
And how far have you personally went back?
I'm in the 1700s as of now, the early 1700s or mid 1700s.
Okay, and that still just dates back to the South area.
And that dates back to the South, and I know people think that people's running around with teepees and sleeping in.
How many legs of your family? How
Not
many,
in the 1700s, we don't.
How many legs of your family have you traced back that far?
I have my mother's side. I'm
But-
working on my father's side.
How far have you went back on your father's? You went 1700s on your mom. Then what about your dad?
With my father, the late 1800s. See, my grandmother, my father's
The late 1800s, so almost 1900. Yeah, that's like 2 or 3 generations. Your dad could, his side of the family could be from Africa, bro. You just,
So if they were,
Bro.
how would you feel about that?
bro, it's more likely than what's the probability? What's the probability of them being of African descent? Yes.
like 10%.
Based on what? Based on what? You only went back to the 1800s.
In the 1700s, I mean.
People could have arrived in the early 1600s from slave ships and set up shop.
I got you.
Your father's side, bro. I'm talking about your father. You do know your mom's side. Like me, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Look, check this out. It's not even just your mother and father. It's almost like each grandparent's side is where you really start cooking.
Yeah.
Because and each generation doubles. Where
Right.
you could have those legs of African like mixed in, Native American mixed in. See, like me on my father's side, I haven't been able to go back that far. Maybe like maybe like a great grandfather. So I don't know that side of my family. I did the same thing with my mother. I went all the way back to the 1400s with the stuff that you're talking about, documents. No, part of my mother's father's side, my grandfather's side, up until like the men are coming from like England up until like the 1700s. Then they moved to America. And then my grandmother was a slave. My grandmother was a slave. I got a picture of her in the front, right? And she's in my book. She was a slave, and then she had a baby with a slave master. And then that's where my third great grandfather came from. This is my fourth great grandmother and my fourth great grandfather. Grandfather slave, grandmother slave, she was a slave and in the slave home.
In what country?
But they said that they were
in what
buried
country?
in one of those censuses. Huh?
In what country?
In America.
In what state?
In Georgia. My grandmother came from South Carolina on a slave ship and got to Georgia. They transported her from there to there. I got the manifest in the ship manifest and everything. But it didn't come from Africa. It came from South Carolina to Georgia. But my grandmother was a slave.
And she was a slave to your grandfather?
She was a slave to my fourth great grandfather, fourth great grandmother.
So who she was a slave for before that?
I don't know. I got the ship manifest. She was sold 3 or 4 times. No, it said she was sold 5 times. I read one document that said that. But she was I have 2 slave manifest ships.
She was sold because she wasn't acting right.
I don't know. She
fell in love. That's
fell
what
in
happened.
love with the right one.
And they said, get her out of here.
My grandmother moved to the house on them. She had 5 kids. My grandmother had 5 kids with my grandfather.
Okay.
What'd you say, Phil? Is it a chance what?
Was he married to somebody else?
A lot of times if people go back, people that look like,
Us.
Us. If you go back further enough, you'll see that it's chances that it's a greater chance of having European blood.
A white man in your blood.
Man, bro.
Well, because they was raping us like no other.
Well, man, my grandmother.
I'm not surprised.
But my
And then they
grandmother
kept
was not
records,
from
though. That's the thing.
Africa
That's
per
the-
Right, they
se.
won't
She was
keep
from
records
They
of
Italy.
kept records of those.
You see what I'm
what I'm
saying?
saying?
to wipe
That's
out
how-
a race and who they are. Guess
She
what
was
you
a
do?
prisoner
About
of
the
war.
record.
There you go. I like that better. I like that better, bro. He said we POW.
No, we wasn't because we weren't at war with them. They were coming and taking us. That one, we weren't at
I
war.
like calling myself a POW a little bit better than a slave, though. I ain't gonna hold you.
A prisoner of war who was released
Damn, man, my
and got
brother-
up and was in the field would roll out. They wouldn't stay there.
What if they was put on a
But I'm
ship?
sorry. I didn't mean it.
What if they was
Shit
put on a
that.
ship though and said that they was in another country?
I was finally free from slavery for 10 seconds until you brought me back.
I'm sorry. It's our month.
Yeah, it's Black History Month. Damn, you DePhil, you don't really do this. You really gonna do this on Black History Month on the last damn day.
Tomorrow is
Leap year.
extended
With
leap year.
It's a leap year Black History. And you just,
We should have a party.
This is my thing, though. This is my thing. I feel that at some point we need to start doing the investigation instead of just going by these stories that's passed on.
But that's what you.
People be learning. People learn that slavery stuff from the movies a lot.
But I'm asking this: How come it's acceptable
Alex
that
Haley.
you could trace your stuff back
Alex Haley.
using the things that you've learned within your genealogy, but other people can't?
Nobody.
Hold on, I got another question. Hold on, one more question. One more. It's documented for them too.
Yeah, it is.
He just told you about his documents.
It is.
I just literally told you.
Yes.
But he didn't say that she came from Africa. He didn't say that she came over. He said.
So what is the okay?
I think
New
that's where we
question.
got that shit from, Alex Haley.
New
When
question.
Roots came out, that's when we
What
started
is
saying
wrong
we
with
were
coming
slaves.
from
Huh?
Africa? What's wrong with coming from Africa?
Nothing.
Because everything great comes from there. All the resources that you have. That
all-
gold in your mouth,
bro,
those
we all came
diamonds,
from
that
Africa.
coffee, that chocolate, that's where we originated from.
Right.
Right. So how come they trying to come here versus us going back there? If we from
Because the American dollar is worth a lot. So if I live over in Africa and it's 60 cents to this dollar, I'm rolling out and I can come over here and work how I work over there and send the money back home. Why wouldn't I?
I think at some point, at
wouldn't
some
I?
point in the future, I think that you will see a big migration to Africa.
But guess what else? Africa is
bro.
one continent. You see Africans coming over here escaping war, just like you see people
Right,
coming from other
right,
countries.
right.
Africa is a continent, it's
Right,
not a country.
It's not being.
So you don't see
Like-
people who are
Like-
from Ghana or from these developed countries in Africa running to America like I don't want to be there. Matter of fact, some Black Americans have ran to Ghana to escape America.
That's true. I mean, it's a migration. Like
So
you
let's
said.
not group Africa as one big.
And it's still people
And the
just
Chinese
leaving
are going
America,
over
running.
in Africa
in
right
colonizing
now
them.
and getting busy.
Yeah,
Colonizing
I mean,
them.
it
Colonizing.
like, and they put a lot of fucked up imagery in our mind about Africa to
That
make us
why?
fearful
Why do you
from
think they
going
do
over
that?
there.
Why?
But man, that's good land
'Cause
that
it's
can
dangerous.
be developed just like
Any other,
place else.
yeah.
It just takes the right mind frame, bro.
And-
I was to say that it's not developed, but the imagery that they show us makes us think that it's like really
Underdeveloped.
broken down.
Yeah.
It probably
In
is.
certain
It
spots,
probably
in
is.
certain areas.
Certain
What if
areas.
all they showed on TV in Africa was bums in American streets?
Yeah.
People shooting up heroin.
Yeah,
Who would
that-
want to come here?
It would be propaganda. You're right.
That's what it is. So we can't judge a place unless we've been to that place.
Man, it's true.
So let's start traveling then, y'all.
Oh, I'm planning to go
So
to Ghana.
everybody-
Me and my
so
kids
we
are
all
going.
need to
I already
travel.
Googled the price and everything.
Where y'all
Ne-
going?
I'm trying to go next year.
Go to Africa? What
Ghana.
part? To Ghana?
People, we say that we don't trust these white folks. We don't trust nothing.
Who don't trust white folks?
Me.
Nothing. Okay, but you trust the story that they kidnapped your people from Africa.
I'm not trusting their story. I'm trusting my people's story who told me that story.
Who
Who traced their genealogy back. How I respect yours, I respect theirs too.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you this. I've heard your story before also. What I find disheartening is that we can accept somebody who says my people were free, but if somebody says my people were enslaved, we got a problem with that. I don't like that. I think we should both accept both genealogies.
There you go. Because just like, I mean, she's saying what you saying, that all black people weren't slaves.
I agree. I don't disagree with that, but
Right, that's
I
true.
don't. But I know that there were also slaves, and if you
And all, hold on, all black people ain't slaves. And that's what you're saying, Bill. She's saying the same thing.
Bill saying
no,
nobody
he's
was
saying
slave.
there was no such thing as slavery. It was employment.
Yeah, he's saying
it was slavery.
He said it was employment.
It wasn't what their are.
It's not what they
Who are
showing on
this
the
they
movies.
you speak of?
It's not what they're saying on the
Who is
movies.
this they you speak of?
It's not what they are portraying.
Who is this
Movie
they?
producers.
So what about if you read
Roots.
W.E.D. What if you read W.E.D.
Not like
Du
Roots.
Bois? What if you read Langston Hughes?
Mhm.
What if you read people's stories who actually said this actually happened to my people?
Yeah,
That's where I get my information from.
right.
Because I went to HBCU, so we learned about all
So
that.
what about the emancipation though? Like let's tell me about that again. You said that was employment. That's what that's what you standing on?
That's what I'm standing on. Yeah, 216 pounds. Yeah, that's what I'm standing on. I'm
Oh.
saying that
So do you think it's disrespectful for me to say this is tripping? He think he ain't come from a slave. Yes, he did. Is that disrespectful?
that's what you're telling me.
So no, it's not. That ain't what I said. I didn't say that to you. I said I believe that some black people were enslaved and some were not. So if I'm shitting on you talking about you're dumb, you're brainwashed, you think you didn't come from slavery, yes you did, you're gonna feel some type of way about me. So that's how people feel when they trace their genealogy and people have told their stories down with their family and you shitting on them.
And let's
During Black History Month.
Hold on.
You can't though.
Let me
Because
ask
you're
this.
saying it ain't the
I
truth.
got a question. No, I got a question. So, okay, even let's say that the Emancipation Proclamation is talking about employment. What did it stop from happening? Like, what more about this employment? What's going on?
They emancipated them from employment.
Emancipation Proclamation, all that was is based on a tax. It's based on a tax. It went from having personal property to register. That's when people start registering
Their slaves.
They start registering everything. Any type of that's when it's taxed with the
So what did it got emancipated? What does the word emancipate mean?
When you transfer and when you emancipate, all you're doing is transferring power. That's emancipation. That's what it is. It never said free slaves. It's a difference between
Yes, it
being
did say that.
emancipated and being free. You can look it up. It's a difference.
It says that all persons held as slaves within the rebellious states are now and henceforth shall be free. It actually does say the word free.
Look up the meaning of emancipate when you emancipate something.
But
What are you doing?
But why does it say free? What is free from what?
So, what were they emancipated?
I think that means to release.
See, when you see a lot of times
Emancipation means like to release
No
from.
longer in their custody.
Yeah, I think.
Emancipation, the fact or process of being set free
Yeah.
from legal, social, or political restrictions and liberate.
All right,
Okay then.
So
I just want us to-
So with that, okay, well, since with this new enlightenment, do you think that it's more possible that slavery existed on a greater scale than what you think, or no? Because they brought a law to make it stop.
I don't know. Me personally, I don't think it happened the way that that they portray it. That's all I'm saying.
So we can't believe any documents then, because we're talking about an actual document. So who are they?
I don't think
The
it's-
documents
I don't think it was
portraying?
as brutal, though.
The documents are portraying, or what?
Yeah, what? Who are you talking about portraying what you are refuting?
You talking about what I'm saying when they?
When we talk about the emancipation,
When we're talking about, you said that you don't think slavery is as it's normally portrayed. All right, so we talking about, are you talking about just movies or more than that?
Movies, books, all these books are fiction books. That's why most of these books.
Like which one? Which one? Like which one?
The movie.
well, we know
Yeah,
Ruth
yeah,
was
yeah.
fictional.
Yeah,
We know that.
Yeah.
12 Years a Slave is not fictional.
Well,
That's a real story. Based off of that guy's
look,
the descendants of his people. Google that. Go to YouTube
Yeah.
and you'll hear them talking about 12 Years a Slave.
and I mean,
But Roots is fictional.
it's, think about it though, bro. Like it could be like stories all over the place, like 12 Years a Slave, kidnapping slaves, and they do got museums up at Central State where they got like that.
What about the photo of the most famous photo of the guy with all them whelps on his back? Where he get them from being employed?
So tell me, how do you know that was in America?
So why would America bring that over from another country and then claim that atrocity? What's the value in that?
We don't know. We don't know. But how do you know?
So
that
anything
it's not?
happened. How did we know
I mean,
that
how do you-
anything happened?
Like, how do you know?
Right, how you know
an
it's
AI
not?
photo? Like, how do we know it's not photo?
So ain't nothing real then.
But
Nothing,
you
your
can say
manifestos
that,
are
yeah,
not either.
Yeah, you can't. The thing about it is like I think that it's hard to do and refute everything that you see.
In Africa, just to let you know that famous picture with the guy with all the whips on him and stuff like
That did not happen in Africa. But it's an African brought from Africa to be a slave here.
What I'm saying is,
I want you to research that picture and read the information.
Is there more than one picture of somebody with whelps on?
Well, that's a famous picture because what the southern you can see his face because guess what? They wanted to show the picture of his scars on his back. So why would they take a picture of his face? And he's turned to the side. But it's a famous picture to show Northerners, to guess what? This is what's happening to us down here. Here's the photograph. That's why the Civil War happened. Because Northerners did not really, you know what I'm saying? We free up here. We don't believe it's slaves, what it is. But they sent that picture to prove it's bad as we say it
Where
is.
did the free people in the North come from?
I believe some of them were already here. And then some of them were European.
They were. Some of them were because they was making treaties with those people when that was what I'm talking about. That like they'll go to war with the tribes, and for the tribes that didn't want to make a treaty or didn't want to basically get down and get into their system, they'll wipe them out. You know what I'm saying? They'll live next to them for a little while and then go in there and wipe them out. But some tribes were fucking with them.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? And that's where some of the free people come from because they was up and then you also had Moors.
They got his name and stuff right there.
Mm-hmm.
You had Moors
What's his
Americans
name?
also on
Peter.
this land.
Peter.
His name is Peter.
Of course they named him that. That ain't his, his
Yeah. No, I'm saying his name is Peter, and that sounds like he in Africa. It's like they done gave him an English name.
I can take a picture of you right now, whatever you wear, whatever. I can take a picture of you, and I can.
But look up slave photos and see if it's any slave photos. Photos of any slaves.
Whatever I wanted to make, no matter what you see and what you think you see, but I'm writing the caption.
Yeah.
I can say, so I got this guy in the middle of nowhere. You can't see the surroundings or nothing. He got his back is lit up and everything else, and his name is Peter. He's from South Carolina.
So pictures invalid. I can agree with that. So why take pictures of slave ship? You wouldn't believe them either.
So what do I do? Can you pull up any pictures of any slaves?
Why? How can you believe that, but you can't believe this picture? So you picking and choosing now what you want to believe. Don't want to believe.
If you did see a picture of a slave ship,
you wouldn't believe
you would
it.
say that it was made up, though.
So that doesn't prove anything.
And any document that supports these like this perspective, this viewpoint, this history, you say that it's not real. So there's no way to
prove it, because everything you say you can negate
it. A picture ain't
except we ain't negating you.
A picture ain't real. Nothing else is real. Even the Emancipation Proclamation is like
not real.
Some kind of hoax or something. It's everybody is fooled by it. Like nobody knows what it really means.
I just encourage people to look up on the census, whatever. It wasn't even that many white people here. It wasn't even that many here until the late 1800s.
White people here for what reason? Why are you saying that?
Period. It wasn't even that many people. They wasn't here.
Why are you saying that though? What's it?
Because I'm saying that these slave stories and all these other stories, they're stories. You know,
So disrespectful. But you are though. But you are being disrespectful. Because if I do that to you and your genealogy, then you're gonna feel some type of way.
Right. Like it's almost like you're trying to teach her that her history
is wrong.
Is fake.
I don't need to teach her nothing. She believed what she believed. She believed it. I'm just saying that you can't just be looking at me or trying to say I'm sounding crazy.
No,
nobody said that. It's quite the opposite. You're saying that to us.
Yeah, she's quite the opposite. That she believes your people are from America.
I've been
you're
said
telling
that.
her that her people aren't by saying that slavery wasn't real. And she's telling you her people were slaves from Africa. And you are saying that never existed. And you don't mean to be doing it. Hold on, listen, bro. You don't mean to be doing it. But when you are explaining how things happen and how all of it is a hoax, you are basically telling her that it's probably her stuff that she thinks with her
Why would the
family.
Library of Congress put this in?
It's
If it came from Africa. Why I'm claiming that?
For saying that people wasn't African slaves when they were African slaves. I apologize.
That was good.
I mean, I ain't trying to. I mean, like I said to people, okay, so if you believe that, that's what happened. I'm not here to. I'm
Sound like you are.
We need to go further than the stories that we told. We need to actually.
Told by who though? The stories that were told by who?
By our school system.
Well, I didn't learn those from them. I learned them from the books that I read from the people who were claiming to be actual slaves. Like I say it again, Langston Hughes. Should I say like all the?
I'm trying to think. In school,
Who's the guy? Malcolm X.
What did they teach us in school about slavery?
Marcus Garvey.
Yeah, Marcus Garvey. Where was he trying to get back to?
Marcus Garvey. Okay, so let's pick up Marcus Garvey.
He was trying to get us to migrate back to Africa.
So Marcus Garvey, let's talk about Marcus Garvey. This is the guy that was trying to get everybody to go back to Africa. Yeah, he got deported and went to England. He went to British. He didn't go to Africa. But he trying to get everybody.
You know why he got deported and went back to England? Because that was where they said he was from. But he wasn't from.
He's from Jamaica, which is England, which was, the territory.
That's right.
He had Jamaican descent. He didn't go back to Jamaica to be around other melanated people. He didn't go to Africa.
When they deport you, what do they do to you? Can you explain deportation? Because I don't understand it.
Because look, when you get deported, that means that you get kicked off of the land that you are occupying.
It doesn't mean they take you back to the place you're from.
You can go back to, you can go to China, you can go to anywhere. You just can't be here when you get deported. That's all.
And he chose England instead of Jamaica.
He chose England.
Yeah.
He chose England.
He wasn't trying to go.
Who knows? But that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove he's not from Africa.
I'm just saying.
That's like saying your girlfriend kicked you out and you ain't go back home. You went to your boy's house. That don't prove anything. I don't know if that's true. I'm gonna have to fact check that, but that doesn't prove anything.
His whole movement was funded by the KKK.
Oh, jeez, Louise, you made that one
I
up.
got proof on that. You want to bet?
I don't want to
Now, wait a
bet.
minute.
I don't want to bet.
Hold on now.
I'm not
wait a
gonna
minute.
argue with a fool on that one. I'm gonna leave that alone. I don't have to look it up. I'll read his book.
Hey, bro, you about to try to just because he communicated with the KKK, like you sound like one of the people from back in his day.
Documented by who, bro? By who?
That's like saying the Black Messiah was in. He went to a KKK meeting to bring the people together and say we all against that.
Well, why would you think that the KKK would put that out as propaganda to dissuade blacks from following a strong black leader?
And why would they fund him? They hanging us.
Documented by who? The newspapers?
Like
The
us.
newspapers are just
So
beat
why-
writers that write shit in order to shape public opinion.
So we shouldn't believe the KKK is what they.
Man, he met with the KKK.
Huh?
He met with the KKK. He wasn't funded. His whole movement was not funded by the KKK.
Okay,
He met
can we
with the
play for a second
KKK.
that that's true? Let's play that. Let's.
When I know what I'm talking about.
Okay, it's true, Phil. It's true. But why do we not like the KKK? What's the purpose of not liking them?
Because they are anti-black. So
Oh, so why would they fund the black man? Makes no sense.
Because he's a plant. He did exactly what he was supposed to.
No, they don't. No, they don't fuck with us at all. It's true.
And so they paid him instead
So
of
they
killing
funded
him.
him. They was gonna
They-
fund his whole.
What did he do though? Like what was his mission?
His mission
I'm not debunking. I'm just saying don't make logical sense.
to get the people to leave this land, to exit this land.
Oh, that would be dope.
To get people to get back. What do I mean?
Go to the place where it's shooting.
Was Marcus Garvey, he was slavery around while he was alive.
He come.
He came right after slavery.
Yeah, yeah. He was a descendant of a slave.
Okay, so
He wasn't a slave at first.
if
Slavery didn't exist.
this isn't our ancestors' land, if this isn't our ancestors' land, how come he invented all the everyday today utensils to make life easier?
Because we were slaves. And
We
had to
invented
work
all this. What are you talking about? We
Make our-
invented the traffic light. We
to
did
make
all of
our
that.
shit easier.
They even used our bodies to perform.
Before slavery. No, that's after slavery. I'm talking about during slavery. I'm talking about when people had patents that they still own the patent, the right to these patents. Like the toilet paper, the doorknob, that all these things were happening when we were supposed to be slaves. And when you look at these images of these people, they're not slaves.
And their families must be wealthy right now.
No, probably not, because
I know why they're not, because they stole it from us and it's not ours. If we don't own the patent. That's why.
So we were in the same jersey on the same team.
No, we're not actually. Because I'm telling you that they couldn't have owned the patent. Because if they owned the patent, best believe they would. Every single doorknob ever made, even the ones with the codes on them, they're getting part of that money because they own the original patent. So if their families aren't wealthy, how is that true?
This is what I'm saying.
I don't know if they are or not. I'm just asking.
This is what I'm saying. We need to stop trying to identify with everything other than what we are, what our ancestors were. That's all I'm saying. That's
So now you're going to go back to that.
because that's the truth.
But she's telling you her ancestors are from Africa, bro.
And I apologize.
So who is the we? Who is the we that need to stop
I
doing that?
don't even know what's we no more. Like,
You don't know a lot.
Exactly.
we, and I don't know. But I'm just saying that a lot of times that I just wish that people would actually do their own lineage versus listen or propaganda or things like that. It's worth it.
You gotta.
Well, I didn't get my
you gotta-
information from-
Man, it's so hard, bro.
I got
Because
my-
you gotta look up 4 sides of your family, bro. You got to look up mother, grandmother, grandfather, grandmother, grandfather. I mean, and then you could even take it to the next step of the greats. Then you got 8 legs of information coming in to make you who you are, bro.
What if
It's so complex.
What if you just read a whole bunch of? What if you just read some books by people who could actually write back then, like Marcus Garvey, and they actually said I came from a slave. Frederick Douglass, and they said I came from a slave. What if you did that?
Frederick Douglass the
I
first
don't.
slave?
What I'm saying is, what if you actually read their books and their biographies and seen their stuff in their books? We can't believe them. We have to. It has to come from our genealogy. We can't look at theirs to believe that slavery existed.
Yeah.
And the atrocities of slavery they
Was a
described.
slave.
Well, I'm saying the
And she was sold 5 times as a little girl. That's atrocity.
I agree.
So you saying that's not true? So is he saying that's not true?
My grandmother was sold 5 times.
She was employed. She had 5 different employers.
And yes.
Yeah, she had 5 different.
But no, she married
The last
her
employer.
husband.
That's
My
me too.
grandfather
She got
was
me
the slave
too.
master.
She did get me too.
She
slept her way to the top.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Granny.
Y'all want to see my grandmother? Hold on, let me show this. Y'all, Mom, don't fall, baby. Hold on. Go ahead, y'all. Y'all keep talking real quick. Humbly, now let him talk to me. I'm gonna find my
I get
grandmother.
called every name in the book for trying to say that I think that our ancestors, and when I say art, I'm used to saying, whatever. Some people might, whatever. But see,
Welcome to the
I feel that
podcast.
I
don't know
feel
what to say here.
our ancestors was greater than what they are portraying them as.
You keep saying they though. So Phil, listen. No shade at all. No shade to you and what you believe. I haven't thrown shade your way at all, although I've got a lot. However, what I'm saying is, I'm just saying both things can be true, Philip.
Going against each other.
No, you.
Look, this is my grandmother's slave manifest right here. See? Manifest. This is the ship. This her right here. Phyllis. Her age is 11. Her height, 4.2.
I saw it in that book.
Class A.
She was short.
Little baby, short just like me. Her name was Phyllis. Here she is right here. This is my grandmother Phyllis. This is my 4th great grandmother. That's her again. This was found in my ancestry records too. We was kin to the presidents.
People want to see. Just in case. Can you see?
Okay, they gotta get the book.
Yeah, hold it up. No, you was perfect because they couldn't see it. Hold on, lift it up some though. Yeah, you can see it. That's my grandmother right there. She married. I'll show you. She married her slave master right here.
Can you see that? Did you see that, Phil? Did you see
She
that?
married her boo, who happened to be a slave master.
Right there.
My grandfather, Reverend J.E. Biggs, 1792.
Okay.
Phyllis McRoslin. This is my 4th great grandmother. She was born in 1806 and lived to 1912. She was 106 years old. She lived 60 years after slavery was over. Just think about that. 106.
That's dope. Now that's something good. That's something to be proud of too.
Yeah, she lived like 30-some years after her husband died. And they had 5 children. One was my 3rd great grandfather. His name was Eddie. So yeah.
So I got a question.
They're all up. I got 3 pictures over in here.
So when have you heard of slavery? Like, how did you come into understanding of slavery? Did you learn it from your ancestors or your elders, or did you learn it from?
I mean, my grandfather.
Roots. He learned it from watching Roots.
This is my 4th grade. This is my grandfather right here.
It looked like a white man.
His grandfather in this book, he learned it from his people. It says royally
His
mixed
grandfather owned
mixed
slaves.
with slave. Oh, my bad. He was just showing us.
You saying
you wasn't here, but he
how
was
did I
showing
learn
us.
about slavery as a concept, or how did I learn about it with my family?
Like, how did you learn about it as a concept? Like, what even? Well,
From watching Roots and watching fucking 12 years a slave.
That's a true story. That's a true story. I'm
I
gonna keep
mean,
saying that. I'm gonna
honestly,
keep saying that.
Homicide.
Homicide was true.
Homicide,
I
yeah.
watched.
That was true too.
I watched. I don't know if y'all ever seen. Damn, what is the? It is the worst slave movie of all time.
Harriet.
Harriet was a
I've
good
seen
movie.
Harriet.
That was true.
So I'm saying.
So I mean, we
And
we
we-
learned about it from like school a little bit. They said you were slaves and this and that.
I didn't.
But,
They told you was. They said that. I didn't learn that.
Maybe, man, just a barely in history. I don't think they really went deep on it. They didn't say like blacks were beaten bad and show us movies and stuff.
Well, I'm from the South, so they told us that down there.
Not up north.
Yeah,
but
but
up north they try to play.
Most of
Polite
it, I'm
poli-
telling you, you learn a lot of that stuff from movies.
Yeah.
And just, it was really Roots.
I think Roots, yeah, because when Roots came
Roots is
out,
the only one.
What gives black people the most?
we rioted when
identity
Roots came
with
out.
slavery.
When they came out in the 80s, didn't it?
So I got a question. If you look at the movies,
Mhm.
when they used to make fun of us, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about in the early 30s or the 40s or whatever.
Blackface
If you
and all
look
that,
at these
yeah.
movies, what did they ever have us as slaves, or were they making fun of our culture? Like,
Well, we weren't slaves when they made the movie, so they wouldn't have had us as
We
slaves.
weren't slaves when they made Homicide. That came in 1997.
They didn't make a movie Homicide back then. They made Homicide in this time period to reflect back then. That movie that you're talking about was actually the first motion picture, and it wasn't made during slavery. It was made to reflect.
A birth of a nation.
That's right, and it wasn't. We weren't slaves then.
Bro, how do you explain like Malcolm X and like you said Martin Luther King, the Black Panther movement, all of these different movements that address slavery and address segregation and all of the lynching and stuff that was happening to black people in America?
You talking about the movies or the individuals?
The individuals, I'm just talking about like what were they fighting for? What was they upset about?
Well, we can just say Martin Luther King. I think Martin Luther King was fighting it, and his message was really for us to unite. He wanted us to wake up and realize the power that we had amongst each other.
Who was the we? What we?
The black people.
That's not it.
We weren't black then. That is true.
No, the civil rights movement was about civil rights. It was a poor people's campaign. That's why. So he was very strategic. He knew that if it was all about black people, there was no way we could make movement. So he made it about poor people's campaign. It was about LGBTQ. It was about the people who are oppressed in America. Because he couldn't get that off if it was only about black folks.
Listen, I'm trying to, do you know why he was in Memphis when he got killed? Do you know why he was in Memphis?
Let's just address that, though. Let's not change the subject.
Let's not change. I'm saying, do you know why he was in Memphis?
Tell me why.
He got killed?
Tell me why.
Because he orchestrated a protest for the sanitation workers.
Yes.
And he was gathering them because of the mistreatment of the sanitation workers.
Okay.
He went there to Memphis to get these people to protest against Coca-Cola, Wonder Bread, and all these other things. He was telling, you could even, in his last speech, he was telling people to stop spending money there.
Okay.
The reason why, because the thing with Martin Luther King was he had a certain agenda. And he realized that he'd been played. And he started telling people to go after the land. He was telling, even in his speech, he was telling people that these foreigners, Europeans, are coming in here and they are taking our homeland. They are taking our farmland. They have the government is working with them. They are turning their back. He also said, I feel like I'm in exile on my own land. This is what Martin
Of course, yes, he did.
Okay.
So what's your point?
So the whole thing with the Martin Luther King, that his whole agenda shifted when he started seeing that by us marching and being nonviolent and trying to become first-class citizens, we are losing everything.
So why are you saying that, though? I'm not understanding what that has to do with him having a poor people's campaign and him marching and us marching. So yes, he wanted rights for his people, but he's
But it wasn't nothing about no slaves and no people, no slaves. It was about us going to go get our land back and go get.
it wasn't. Oh, so what is the civil rights? The civil rights movement was about us getting our land back, or was it about us having equal rights?
It was about. It started off with us trying to get equal rights because we became citizens. All right?
That's how it ended up, actually, us getting our civil rights. But go ahead. And us, by us, we mean LGBTQ.
We never got them. We never got them. That's. And I just had this conversation with me the other day, and I said, "Do you feel that we gained or lost more with the civil rights, with the whole identifying as black and everything? Have we gained more or have we lost more? We lost more." And what he was trying to do is get us.
So what do you identify as?
Identify as American.
Okay, so what does American identify you as?
As American.
So when you go fill out an application, you check the American box? Because I've never seen that.
I don't check. I don't even specify.
So when, on your driver's license, it don't say that you black?
It don't say I'm black, and I can screenshot it right now to you. Do not say I'm black.
So if you got pulled over by the police, they would say, we're pulling over a 216-pound American?
And if they say black, I will correct them.
But what I'm telling you is, I can identify as a spoon, but am I that?
On my driver's license, since you
It's
said
just on
it,
your
I
driver's
can
license.
screenshot it until.
I'm just asking you, though.
It's on your
I'm
driver's
just
license.
asking you. I understand what you identify as, but all of us might not we all might say black. I'm not black. Obviously, my skin is not black. I'm an American. I get that.
Does it ask for a race category on your driver's license though?
No.
Oh, it doesn't even ask what
So
race
none
you
of us
are.
got it.
It give a description: brown hair, brown eyes, stuff like that, like how it used to be. But I don't.
But did you request that black not be on there?
No, I did not.
Oh, because it must not come on there anyway. It must not come on there anyway. But I'm just saying, I'm sure you check black on the application.
No, I don't. I'm telling you, I don't.
I'm sure at the census, when the census come, they put that you're black. They don't put you're American.
I'm black.
That's fine.
What's black?
You can say that, just like men say they're women and women say they're men.
Okay, I got a question. So we used to go
Nah,
back
don't
to
say
people of color, right?
Mm-hmm.
People of color, right? So how we go from people of color to black, which is the absolute
On what? In what? According to what? We went from people of color on what? Like what? Like what
On
was?
everything.
Listen, here's the
hold on,
thing.
wait.
We're not a monolith.
Hold on.
People want to identify as certain things. Some want to be African American. Some want to be black. Some want to be American. I'm not saying you're wrong. What I'm saying to you is we can identify as whatever we want to identify as. But at the end of the day, to America, you're black. And they're going to list you as black. When you pass away, you're going to be black.
I'm copper color.
They're not going to put caramel. They're not going to put American. They're going to put that you're black. So I'm telling you,
I'm copper
all of us
color.
don't even identify as black.
You are copper color too, though. You got a little copper in your color. I'm copper color.
This is my thing, though.
We don't say that. Nobody wants to identify.
Copper.
Race is a made up Race is a made up construct. It's not even made. That's not even. When you go to Africa or Jamaica, nobody's talking about I'm black. It's made up in America to keep a certain group of people down. It's a part of the caste system here.
Nowadays they are because we accept everybody.
Jamaica-
No, they've been doing that. That happened during slavery. It ain't nowadays.
Jamaicans can say I'm Jamaican.
That's right.
But unfortunately, we don't have a nationality to claim. So we have to use
American. Why we can't claim American?
We
I mean,
can claim American,
You
but
can, but America doesn't
claim you.
Why not?
A white person
I
don't
don't
even
know
say
why
they don't put on their thing I'm American. They put white.
And I mean,
They put at
you
Alaskan.
can't. We are
I got a
Americans.
question.
We are Americans.
I agree.
We are Americans 100%. But what I'm saying is though, like, when a black man calls himself an American, it's got a little bit of
Negative
suckerish
undertones.
in it.
Negative
It's
undertones.
got a little. It's got a little bit of like conquered
I agree.
And, you feel me? Like I wish we had.
Because you claiming like
I
this
wish
and they shooting us down.
Like we have our own.
So it's a conundrum right there.
Name. I don't know what to say, but
It's a
it
conundrum.
does feel a little like. You
Curd.
feel me? Like I was
Like
kidnapped.
you got curd.
Sambo-ish.
Yeah.
So if you
You
join
took the
service
slave name.
and you go
Yeah.
overseas, right?
Toby.
You go
You
overseas.
took the. What's
Hold
your-
on, hold on.
Yes.
You go overseas.
If you join the service and you go overseas, right? What would they classify you as? The black American, the white American?
We talking about America. That don't mean nothing.
An American
Because
soldier.
race is a made-up construct in America. It's not a made-up construct in certain countries. It's not made-up construct. So they're going to call you American. I'm asking you, what does America call you?
Right.
They call me Philip.
No, they
They
don't.
call you.
They call you. They call you. They call you nigga. They call you nigga. That's exactly what they call
I
you.
mean, that's cool. I ain't tripping. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm just kidding. They call me nigga. You know, it's just, it's
Even
like,
if you in the bins, you still a nigga in the coop.
and
That's
you
what
know,
they call
I mean, and I ain't gonna even hold you. There's nothing wrong with that.
Ain't nothing wrong with what?
There's nothing wrong with me being called a nigga.
It's not.
No.
Yeah,
Wrong,
but
is, wrong is a perspective. Good and bad is a perspective.
There's something wrong with it to me. I wouldn't call you
I got
that
another-
unless
I
I
got
was
another-
upset.
But I'm telling you, there is a group of people when
Yeah.
they call each other niggas, it's absolutely no offense. Like I call like
I agree, but what if
sometimes I
does
would
it
say, bro,
include
that's
other
my
races?
nigga.
Does it
I-
include other races? That group of people that you speak of.
No, I don't think that there is.
Are there Caucasians up in there being like, and you tripping?
Nah, I just think
Okay.
that it's man,
I
we
think
got
we need to stop accepting everybody as us. Because, like you said, America don't claim us. Africa don't either.
they
Only
don't.
time you hear about
That's
Africans
who.
and stuff,
I don't
you
think
gotta
they
get
do.
more-
Then why did Ghana have this big campaign to get us to come over there?
Cause why we ain't never drop our nuts and take some land in? Cause we ain't never did that. We ain't never drop our nuts and take some land. If we considered ourselves natives, we got ran on. If we considered ourselves natives, we got ran on. If we consider ourselves
Well, he said
slaves,
he
we
is
still
native.
got ran on. So now, like, so why we ain't never drop our nuts? We ain't never dropped our nuts and took no land. So we can't call ourselves from anywhere because we ain't never did that. We gotta go take some shit and say that's our shit, just like everybody else went took their shit and now they standing on that shit. And we ain't never did that. So we sitting here looking stupid, calling ourselves black.
Calling ourselves
Now we black.
calling ourselves American.
Yeah, calling ourselves something we ain't.
Calling ourselves
We trying to get
any fucking thing
whatever.
besides what we make up ourselves.
Right.
I agree.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck? Like, we just sitting here like, nigga, I
And
want to be in their house.
but
We
this
want to
is
be
a-
in their
this-
house.
hey,
I want to
honestly,
go live with them.
This is a Bible scripture. When you read Deuteronomy, it talks about how we would sit in like astonishment and wonder, and we would be somewhere else serving gods and people that we've never known. Like this shit
Right.
is so wild, man. Like,
And that's
the
where
fact
we
that
at with
can
it.
Be having a debate over what is
It
our
was written.
nationality is.
It ain't no
That's
debate.
something
It ain't
that-
no
This, when
debate.
he
For
said,
real, for real.
when he said that's what they want us to do, this, remember at the last podcast,
Yeah.
I was saying, and that's the purpose.
Yeah.
To erase, when you erase somebody's history, erase who they are, whether you claim native, whether you claim black,
Right.
that's why I like the term melanated people.
Yeah.
Because all melanated people who are here have been ished on.
Melanated is a nice word.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that too.
I'm gonna start saying copper colored though. I like melanated. It's called
Copper little
Are
like,
you
you all know you-
black,
I'm
Stan?
copper.
you think you not
Yeah.
copper, you dirty copper.
Well, I'm dirty copper, but I'm copper.
Nah, you a little
I'm a
bit,
little burnt.
you a bit,
We
you a
Little
little bit
crispy.
ebony.
Black America and always trying to claim somebody as us, even though they tell you like, no, I'm such and such. No, you still black. No, you black. So what makes somebody black? Because me personally, this is my opinion, so it holds weight only to me. I think that black is a culture. It's a culture.
So a white person could say they're black. An Italian could
Yes.
say they're black
Yes,
because they're part of the culture.
yes. If they're part of the culture, then yes.
We let everybody know.
Right. We-
No, I'm asking it. Can that happen?
Yes.
They could call themselves black.
Yes, if they're part of
So
the
when they
culture.
get
They just saying it though.
right, But if we both in,
But if they're a part of the culture, we accept it.
Yes, we do.
Right.
who does?
The culture.
Who do that? What culture? It depends on what. So the problem I have with all of these conversations is black folks want us to be a monolith. They want us to be one thing.
Right.
And when everybody don't agree on that one thing, it's like, you tripping, or we, we're not one thing.
But we
And
still
we
have
all
to find
shouldn't
a common
have-
ground, though.
But here's the thing: we hold our community to standards. Melanated people to standards we don't hold any other community.
Because we're above any other community.
No, what I'm saying though
Like, we
is
better
they're
than that.
unrealistic expectations. Like we all need to get along. Why?
Why not?
I just don't F with you like that, and that should
But
be
why
okay.
not, though?
Why not? Because we're two different personalities, and I just don't F with you like that.
Okay,
How
but we
come I'm
can't.
not
But we
allowed?
ain't gotta beef.
Because we're all
But we don't have
melanated
to
people.
beef. We can get along. Well, we gotta
can't
not
we
get
though?
along just
Why-
because you don't fuck with me. I can not fuck with you and still get along with you.
I can't.
Well, why not?
Because what if you do me
Just
dirty?
don't fuck with me.
But what I'm saying is, human nature. Guess who could be humans? Every Italians. They can all be
They
human.
all fight
But
each other.
black people can't be human.
But as soon as
What
we
you
do it,
talking
it's
about?
like, oh, look at the wild.
Because we're
dogs.
better
right.
than that, though. Why are we trying to be
I'm not saying
like that,
I'm
though?
not
What?
saying that.
Trying to be like
I'm
that, but
saying that we
y'all
all
are
have sins.
Exactly.
So we're held to this unrealistic expectation.
Why is it
It's
unrealistic?
detrimental
Right.
to our community because now all we ever hear is all the negative stuff about
Propaganda.
us, and we're now pushing this propaganda.
We don't control our media, but we play into it.
We do control it. I want to say I don't believe that. We control what we consume.
Yes, we do.
There's all kinds of media out there. There's a Black Information Network. Watch that. If that's what you want to do. I'm
It's
not
a-
saying it is. What I'm saying is
It's a Black
Watch
Crypto
that.
News.
Watch the
The
media.
media
that
needs you.
It's a
That's right.
blackcryptonews.com also.
But I'm just saying, the media is no longer, we can no longer blame stuff on the media because you're choosing what media to consume.
We don't control our algorithms.
No, we don't, but you're choosing to be on that algorithm.
To a certain extent, though.
To a certain extent, you can type in something different.
Shit, they don't show me what I like. I don't like that shit they be showing
Then
me.
quit looking at it.
Wait
I
a minute,
don't.
bro.
Then how you know keep
It
It's
just keep popping up. You can't help but to like look at least one or two of them. Like damn, like what the fuck? Like what? What little Boosie say?
Because my algorithm ain't your algorithm. They're all
Right.
different.
Have
Exactly.
you ever I log into my daughter's YouTube? It's like
Something
Miss
different.
Rachel and all.
My
that stuff.
son's is
My
all
grandson.
football and
Right.
cooking.
Right. My algorithm is all conspiracy stuff that I like watching in lectures and stuff.
I don't
So
like
Mine
that.
is education.
I want to be able
Well,
to turn my
control-
algorithm off.
Well, do
Well, you
something.
can't
Every
write
once
it
in a
up.
while, Google
I
something
do.
that has nothing to do with
It
it.
doesn't work.
You tried it?
Cause I Google a lot of different stuff, but it only show me certain things. I
Did
Google
you
shit
see
like
the social experiment on Netflix?
nah.
It explains the
It
algorithm.
allow you to do.
And you ain't gonna want to be on your phone
The
at all.
stuff
after
that you
that.
search though, it kind of tries to figure out a way to show you more content like that.
It does.
It does.
That's
It
what the
shows you
AI
what
is
you
naturally.
like.
You Google
And
whatever
the
you
stuff
look at.
subscribe to,
Yep.
Maybe that's what it is. The stuff I subscribe to.
yeah.
That's why you seeing all them booties. I'm just playing.
But
I'm just playing.
I don't go out to try to offend nobody. I just, my delivery could be better. It could be worse too, but it is what it is. So
It couldn't get no worse.
Man, that's like me slapping you and be like, man, I didn't mean that. My
I
bad.
could've
And
hit you harder.
then you slapping me again.
See, I'm trying to apologize.
You did that already.
I know they don't. I know, but I'm just saying that
You keep
my
doing it.
opinion is not intended to offend anybody. It's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I just and what I wish that we do, which is my opinion as well, that we actually start doing the research because
Here you
we
go
spreading
again.
this. We spreading this, and we giving it to our youth. You know
My-
what I'm saying? And
I don't want to offend you either, but you sound stupid. That's what you just said to us. You keep saying I don't want to offend you, but keep saying do your research as if we didn't just say there's proven research. So if we keep coming at you like that, you're gonna feel like that we feel like you're lying, or we feel like you've been bamboozled, or we feel like you've been fed some information that whatever. So the fact that you keep saying that lets me know that you, for some reason, don't want to believe that slavery existed, whatever the reason is. I don't know, but
my grandmother was a slave. My grandmother really was a slave.
I see
everything I love, and I got the manifest and everything, you know.
And you got a book to say it. It's in the book.
There it is. It's documented. And I got like the cool
I
parts
got
about
none
it.
of
Like I found my fourth great grandfather and fourth great grandmother. Their pictures, man.
So what did you
I got
do
their
to
pictures
do all
and,
this?
Went to ancestry.com and got all the records. I didn't do a mouth swab. I did census records. I did census records, birth certificates, records, like just papers and documents. It had, and then it was giving me hints that I could go in and then give me like the reason why these hints
What
were
if they
popping
put
up.
them hints? I'm just playing.
That's
No,
the
I mean,
algorithm.
But I'm just saying.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I feel like people, the only reason why people are tracing their ancestry back is because genocide has happened to us. We have been stripped of who we are as a melanated people. And now to strip a people from who they are will cause distress within them and their communities. So it's all by design. And now it's like, if I could just find where I come from, then maybe I will feel more whole.
Right, we scrambling trying to catch up almost.
And so instead of us arguing about all this,
Trying to figure
why don't
some
we
stuff
just
out.
all recognize that the reason behind all this?
I just like to take all the information in, and it's like, cause like say you found this information, you found something different, and then now he found something different, and then you look at all this information and just try to see how does this fit, because if it's all true, then it's gotta fit together. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll be able to see the different lies. Like, all right, this don't even make sense right here, so that may not even be true.
Cross-reference.
Yeah, once you cross-reference these stuff,
You
then you
know
can put
that's
together
happened.
a bigger picture.
That's happened in history. But it's up to us to you know what I'm saying, pick and choose who and what we believe and what we don't believe. And the sad part is AI technology and everything has become so robust. We don't know what the truth is and what's a lie. So at the end of the day, we all could call, nah, you lying, I'm lying. How do we know what is?
I mean,
No, I'm just saying.
I know.
I'm not saying I can discredit it.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
I can say you made that picture up
Exactly.
if I believe in
Right.
conspiracy.
I mean,
theories.
like if we gonna take it that far and be like, oh, that picture, you don't even know if that picture is real. Then that's what we like. Well, damn, there's nothing.
Nothing real. You can't believe. You don't know.
You know.
Yeah.
Then what do you do now? Because I think we are getting to that point now, to where we don't even know. We're approaching that point. I don't think we've really got there yet.
Matter right
The
now.
truth does matter.
Well, this is what I think is happening. I
truth
think
matters.
Does history that far back matter what's going to happen to you from now on to the rest of your life?
Listen, if you want to erase a people, you erase their history.
No, I know that. I'm just saying,
So-
but does it?
If it did matter, they wouldn't be trying to pass laws to not teach about our history, even though it's a part of that actual historic. Like, how can you teach about people settling in America was taken out?
Either if
race.
we was freed natives and never was slaves, or if we were slaves, does that historical fact, did it have any impact on your life today?
It did on my life.
It did.
Now, I guess maybe a better way to ask that would be, if you had not known that, would you be all right? I probably would. But since I was told where I come from, it gives, when I'm like, with my school, and I'm like, man, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of people. I'm sick of the system. I'm sick of all of this. I'm not about to do this. I'm about to quit and go back to a regular job, getting more money than I'm getting now.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that. Like, how dare you give up when your ancestors fought so you can even say you can open a school? How dare you feel like what? Girl, bye. Get over that shit. Get up and go to take a nap, have you a glass of wine, wake up and get over that shit. It empowers me to say there's nothing I could complain about when if my car is broke down. I gotta walk the block. Okay, they walked all the way from from Georgia
Cincinnati.
and kept walking, not eating none of that.
Through the woods, man.
And how do I got the right?
Do that, bro.
I don't know, but I think knowing history is important though, because that's where a lot of your present knowledge come from, and it's built upon.
Those two things in particular.
I think it affects you because like your present knowledge is built on history. You know what I'm saying?
Give an example where it would affect you.
Can you elevate yourself for your grandkids to not have to feel it as tough as you do?
You don't think that's
I don't
Can you
think
make
so.
it-
I don't think so. I think
So
the
there's
system.
nothing that you
I
can do to
don't.
bring yourself
Out of the system, no.
Not-
'Cause
it's
I think
not a
the system
I'm
is
not talking
designed
about
for
a
it.
No,
system. I'm talking
it-
about where history is affecting them. So the history will.
Well, the problem is history just affects us by us mere living here. If none of us ever told if they never told I think it'd be worse if they never told us about our history, because then it would be, damn, well, why am I treated like this?
Yeah. Or why are we so?
Now, if it was equality in America, if it was equality and equity in America, then we wouldn't be so concerned about our history. We are concerned about it because we're trying to figure out why they don't like us.
Right, and then they're able to tell you
better from where my grandmother
I
was
do.
a slave to right now where I'm at.
the system
I'm saying though,
or the people that's oppressed.
I think so. I think so. And I think it's going
You
to
said
continue to
what?
get better.
Has it gotten better from when my grandmother was a slave until now?
Nah, I don't think so.
I think it's worse.
Okay.
So
To me,
if you could live in any time period, would you live back in the 1700s or 2024?
Right.
I probably live. It just depends on the place.
Huh?
No, we talking
No.
about, you know,
If you could risk it all and own the
trade
land,
places
hold
with my
on.
grandmother. Trade places with
I
my
wouldn't
grandmother.
trade places with your grandmother.
Why? She was the slave.
So
Trade
she was
places
a slave.
with trade places with her brother, who was a slave.
I wouldn't want to do that either.
Well, trade places with somebody who wasn't a slave but was melanated in the 1700s.
I probably want to do that.
You would.
Like if
You
I
would.
wasn't,
You would risk it all.
And are y'all?
I ain't risking none of that. I know
why
why.
y'all would be saying that.
I don't
what you
need
mean? Like I would
I
do
don't
it just
understand
because
why
I
y'all would be saying
don't. Like I would want to.
That would make me sad.
I don't know.
If you could
I
time
think
travel, you was
might
like,
just be saying that to just
For
have
the
a different point
experience.
of view.
For the
experience what? The hatred?
Like, bro, it's
Having to be emancipated or not?
I don't
So,
think
okay,
everybody
what
was
about-
slaves though. I wouldn't want to be a slave. No, I
Okay,
wouldn't
even
want to
if
be
you
a
wasn't,
slave.
even if
But
even if
no, but I would want to be a free man in the 1700s, and you a free man.
I
What's
wouldn't.
wrong with that?
I wouldn't. I
just
wouldn't.
because of
Because guess what?
it's not as
Just because
bad.
I was free don't mean I wasn't hung. Just because I was free. And they have actual documentations of blacks getting hung even in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right.
Strange
That's what I was about
Fruit.
to say.
The song Strange Fruit is about
Right.
us hanging from trees.
Right.
You think she just made that song because of what? She made that up in her head? She didn't.
Right. So
That was
so
So
But
not
that's
me.
a different time though. That's
That's
in-
before. That
that's the
was
seven-
after
I'm
the
talking about the
1700s.
1700s.
we talking about as things got better though. No, my
Yeah.
grandmother was 1806 to 1912. You think it's gotten
You
better?
think her
My grandmother
grandmother
was born in the
But do you think
1912.
his grandmother was like, man, if I could go back in the 1800s? She wasn't. She wasn't her whole
You would
100.
feel y'all would go back. What would you go back to 1700s to do, man?
I don't know. Be let claim some land and
They
shit,
gonna go back with this attitude and they gonna get put right in
back
their place
there
by the
and
white
claim-
man.
and just start
Why
taking
you
my
think
place.
that's
I
up?
just start
Oh,
taking
you
my
want
place
to
on shit.
adjust it in.
I just
Come
do
on
that
over here.
shit. What?
Me? You fucking sassy.
Shit.
You sassy boy. Yeah.
I'll be staking my claim, busting
Okay.
these colonizers.
Okay, staking your claim.
Hitting them
You
with
So let me
big-
ask you this. Let me ask you this, right? If that many of us own land and property, what happened?
They took it from us
How?
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 How did you gonna take it
by
from us?
classifying us as
How can
Negroes
they
and
classify
Wait a minute.
us?
And-
Hold on. So what?
and bringing
so
us
what
into
story is
no
more
bringing us
resilient?
into their
They're
system.
just coming and taking our land.
Hold on,
You
wait.
over here
I wait, cause this is how they did it though.
Okay.
they brought us in, right? They brought us into that
How did
system,
they do it?
and we started registering, and then they started putting taxes on us and saying that we.
So we
owed
was
them.
dumb.
So we like,
And then-
they tricked
and
us.
then-
we dumb.
We that
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah, we got
We that
tricked.
dumb.
We ain't that dumb. We just got tricked. If we don't know this
Out of
shit,
a whole
it's
country.
not knowing the.
All the blacks in the whole
That is
country.
the
And then, wait, that's part of it. Wait,
Then
I don't think they did it to everybody, but that was part of it.
Bro,
But then there's other parts
military
where
component.
people
Please
just
talk
walk away from their land.
Please talk about the military component, because if you say that we got tricked out of this land and didn't get wiped off by military force,
What are you
that's
talking
some
about? I'm trying to.
bullshit.
So he's saying we not gonna go.
I don't
Hell no, we
understand
ain't
what
going.
period you're talking about, because I think we're talking about two different periods.
No,
You-
we established.
Listen, hold on. What we was talking about, you having land, and they got a lot of us had land, and she said, "How
And
did
the-
the land get taken?"
taken. And y'all said,
But that's
because
what I'm
we-
saying. We gotta define what time period you're talking
The
about.
time
The
period
time
we was
you're
talking
talking
about.
about.
We're all talking about the same time period.
What time?
You said they had land. We said what happened to it. You said they got taken. So that time period, when the land got taken, how did they take the land? It don't
They
make
just
sense.
was like, sign these documents, and we was like, okay.
So this is
You got to say they did it with the military.
It just
And they
depends
only
on
did it
what
to
time
blacks.
period.
They didn't do it to whites.
That's what I'm saying. It depends on what time.
They only
period
did it to
you're
the
talking
black. Okay, listen. Hold on for a sec. You said 17. I said you go back to the
about. Right, in the
1700s.
1700s.
We was like, why would you? I get me some land, and then Phil chimed in and said we own land, and I said, well, where's it
And
at
that's
now?
and that's what the confusion got, because then that's two different time periods.
Okay, period. What? So let's talk about the time period when we all had land. Can we talk about that?
All right.
So the time period when we all had land, how did it get taken away? You're saying it got taken away because we signed it away. Now, hold on. Another question. Why would they only be trying to take melanated people's land? Why wouldn't they try to take everybody's land they could take? We was only ones duped.
We was the only ones with land.
We was the only ones here.
We were the landowners.
Right.
Okay, but my point is saying this. Let's say I walk up to you with a piece of paper, and I'm not. I mean, you walk up to me.
I'm
with
a
piece of
foreigner.
paper,
A foreigner walks up to you
with a
speaking
piece
their
of-
language,
with a
not
piece-
yours.
With a piece of paper, and says, "Sign this," and you like, okay, bet. Let's say they tricked you, and you said you signed it. They said, "Now we take your house," and then you really move out. I don't get that shit.
And then
Once
it
you
didn't happen
fucking made me sign
It
some shit,
didn't
and they
happen
tryna-
that.
How it happened? That's what our question
That's what
is.
y'all are telling
We're
us.
asking you, how did it happen?
We joined their system. What does that mean, bro?
That means
You want to go or you want me to go ahead, D. And I put my.
I'm
my
well, plain and simple, bro. Like when we all start using the American dollar, that's when we basically join the system.
And who is the we?
The Americans.
Well, how
So
did-
black or white, no
how
matter
did-
their
So
color.
did they
Right.
pay for the houses?
So
They paid the.
so now
people
say,
to
hold
move
on,
out
wait.
their
So
land?
now say no. So say like you now you join this system. You're using this money, using these banks. You're in this system. Now we come to you and we telling you, like, you've been staying here all this time. You've been staying in this house all this time. So now we coming to you telling you, all right, now you got to register this land, and we keeping records of this land. So now we got you keeping records. Now we tell you, all right, now you got to pay taxes on this land, because now you're living in the city of
Because
Ohio.
we all decided that everybody got to pay
I mean,
taxes.
in
so
the
you gotta
city
pay
of
taxes.
in the city of Dayton. Now this is the city we incorporated, and things change over time. And by you still
According to
staying there,
who, though?
this is
Because-
Hold on.
according
Let
to-
him go all the way down to the place where we don't have our land anymore. Keep going.
so things change over time, and you incorporate. I mean, and you
owe taxes on your house.
you owe in taxes. You slowly, you know what I'm saying, get in the system, and you in the system, and you now they're telling you owe taxes, and you because you registered your house.
Okay.
And yeah, that's in the paperwork when you go in the little fine print and you didn't read all this. They telling you this is what this is for, but you're not reading this paperwork, and all of this other stuff is in this paperwork. They're just telling you the good things about this paperwork that you're signing.
So what was in the
But a
paperwork? You didn't read it?
Contract is not binding, though, bro.
But we don't know that.
Who
But
doesn't?
You can't enforce
That means
this
we're done.
bullshit on me, bro. You can't enforce.
That means you're
your
telling us
treasury
that we're
contract
stupid.
on me and
I'm
make
telling
that shit
us
official.
that we're ignorant.
No,
We were
no,
ignorant.
I don't
You gotta
agree.
physically take their land though. You have to physically come in and move them off of that land. Like, so even if we was in default on the tax and all of this other shit, this was my house. Just because I start using your money.
No,
does
no, no,
not
no.
fucking
You,
mean-
yeah, like far as with most of this stuff, the older people were dying and leaving these estates to their kids, and their kids they're taking from their kids because first of all, they probably ain't nowhere around. They probably off
I
in
know,
college
so
and
that's
stuff.
how that.
Who was
Hold
taking
on,
the
that's hold on.
the city,
That can be true though.
the banks.
It can be true
The-
that when you passed away, I live in California, you live in Alabama. You
And you don't want to go
away-
back to a farm.
you passed away, right? And so you handed it down to your son, but your son is no longer living, but his daughter is. She don't even know that exists. That can happen, but I don't believe that all these black folks just owned all this land and all of a sudden
mass
people
trickery.
just trickery in the
Trickery,
system
son,
came and
get out.
took
Yo,
the
house,
land.
it's ours.
To me, that's not taking that land. That's us not claiming that land.
Right.
That's what's going on. You said it right.
Well, that happens with every culture. That don't never happen with
That
black
has nothing
culture.
to do with like tricking or nothing.
That's not a trick.
How is that tricking?
This is how they got everybody, right? So
Define everybody.
it was all, well, you know what I'm saying.
I don't know what you're saying.
No. What you talking about? Who is
Black
everybody?
people, white people,
Listen, hold
no.
on, listen. This is how
American-
It matters.
everybody that he's talking about is the people that got their house taken. Everybody who got their house taken.
Okay.
So go
This
ahead,
is what
bro.
happened. This is what happened. People start registering to vote, and they start registering. And when you become a citizen, they start sending the mails to these crazy wars, and they go fight these wars. And while these guys are over there fighting these wars, these guys are intimidating the women and children. A lot of the land that when we I need to stop saying we lost our land. I need to stop saying that. We abandoned our land. A lot of times these women and children, they left the lands. Oh, you got people coming in the middle of the night, threatening your son, your teenage son, or your kid.
So what war was this that this was happening?
It's been. I mean, we could say World War One. We could say all this. This is when the trick happened. The trick.
What was World War One about?
I don't know.
Was that the Vietnam? What was the World War One?
World War One was
That was a world war, correct?
Mhm.
World, yeah. That we jumped in. We also had.
So the land that they were taking, they decided when people
World
went.
War II was Germany.
Yes.
Germany was World War
Italy.
II.
But World War One, I don't remember who
was
that
Japan.
was. I think it was
Japan.
Japan.
We dropped
Yeah,
the bomb,
and,
Hiroshima.
Yeah, that's how that
And
ended.
what I'm saying is this: the war used to draft the males.
Yeah, it still does.
Capable men. Okay, then so they was drafting the capable men. So the women felt unprotected, and they was leaving these lands. They was leaving the South. That's why everybody was going. You know, people from Detroit, people from.
So what happened when you
People
came
was
back from
migrating
war?
from the farms. to
What
the
happened when you
cities.
came back from the war?
That's what it was. It
The man was
they
like,
started
"Hey,
migrating from,
oh well,
from the
babe,
farmlands
you
to the
rolled
city
out. I
lands.
don't want my land no more. After I didn't find this war, I'm gonna fight you too."
A lot
So-
of these guys didn't come back from the war. They didn't come back, and when they did come back, they seen some things, and they just wasn't the same. Still to this day, it's the same thing that's happening to this day.
So did that happen to white people too, or just black people?
Our melanated people are American people,
Yeah.
since nobody's black.
It happened more to us because we was the landowners. We were the landowners, and it happened more to us, and it happened more to our people.
So if you look
how
up
did
the
this become? How did this land become the United States of America?
Because we registered it, we became first-class citizens. That's what I was saying. Even Martin Luther
Who is
King was saying that.
who is we registered it? What do you mean?
we ain't no first class citizens. We've never been first class citizens.
No.
That's what the whole civil rights movement was.
No, I'm
No.
talking about how did we become the America itself? Because I'm trying to
After the war, we united and became the United States of America.
Right.
That's
what
the
I'm-
question.
Hold on. The
After the
point.
Civil War.
That's the question right here.
What I'm asking is this: there was indigenous people on this land, right? and then you had white settlers coming from Europe. Somehow, some way, they turned this land to the United States, and it's known for what it's known for now. How did that happen? How did they take the land from the indigenous people here to set up the cities and the counties and everything else that's taking the land?
Through force.
The hell? I mean, shit, people, we
How do you know though? Do you really know? Have you read about it? Or are you just
I
about
read
to be
about it.
talking right now?
I said, how did they
How'd they do it then?
They set up. They had the British come in and then set up on over there by in New York, and then the Spaniards was coming from the south, like the Mexico area, and then the French was down there by New Orleans area, and they started over there. The British was over there in the New York area, and they was just basically when they basically get down, they was on some get down and lay down shit. They was on some coming over there, and the natives was showing them how to
How
live.
populated was America when the British invaded?
There's no real number to say because they
Was,
couldn't
was
count.
every territory in America populated like it is right now?
No.
No.
Every territory.
That's
Yes.
how that's how people
Yes.
Was
It
there
was populated.
cities and cities of people?
It wasn't
like it is
cities,
now?
no. But it was populations. It was tribes.
Yeah,
It was
he knows
tribes,
that. He
but-
said how many people.
But they couldn't.
Let's
We
say
don't know.
in this region where we live at in Dayton. In Dayton, it's 100,000 people here, right?
Yeah.
Was there
The records show
100,000
2.5
natives
million.
here
Yeah,
at
probably
that time?
around that much.
Oh, I don't think so.
The record, if
There's
you
too
look at
many of
records,
us.
Maybe.
and it was 2.5 million.
Because
that- the record
urbanization
is
didn't
what?
happen until we populated more. You didn't need apartments and stuff back then because it wasn't more of us.
how many natives were killed? How many natives lived on this continent
All of them.
before the? I'm just asking to see like what type of operation was it for them to come and take over the whole country? Like, did they have to come over and take over like 1 million natives? Was it 1 million natives living here? 10 million?
But I'm
I don't
saying,
think they
but
got-
there's no real way to say because who was counting? No one was really counting. You know what
But
I'm
I want to
saying?
know is there any
y'all
historical
think that-
records
y'all
that
think it
say
wasn't no
about the
civilization back
resistance?
then?
What type of
Y'all think it was no
resistance did the
civilization
British
back
face
then?
in order to control this land?
I didn't say that it wasn't.
No,
it
so
wasn't
the-
a
so the
civilization. It's
difference
just
is they
I don't
brought
think they
different-
were being
more,
counted.
but they also were more technologically
Advanced.
right.
Right.
Where because we were not people of war.
Right.
We weren't capitalists. We just lived on the land, lived peaceful. I'm not saying we didn't
Right, we
fight
was-
each other or none of that. But what I'm saying is we didn't create guns and bullets.
Conquer. We didn't try to conquer.
Conquer. We didn't bring disease
Right. I just want
over.
to know how many natives lived on this continent before the British came. Are
A
we
lot.
thinking- so right now, America has 300 million people here.
They said it was 2.5 million.
So it's 300 million living here right now,
So
and
that's a
then it
million
was
more.
only 2.5 million people.
Right.
I don't think it was. I think it was way more than 2.5 million.
Because that's like it was like people must have been spread out like
I think we were.
so much.
I think it was a lot of spread. It wasn't urbanized. It wasn't cities. It was, I believe, more like when you drive on the back road.
I don't think it
I
was
think
like
it was
that.
more like that.
I think-
Houses were more far apart.
I
They weren't
think when
that
they
close.
came,
it was
I-
agriculture and farming. You couldn't have what we have now in farm when we was farming. I think it was way more agriculture back then. It wasn't no streets and roads how they are now, because it was agriculture.
I think when they came, it was more so like you had different areas. I think you had areas that was urban, like kind of, or in a sense what we call urban, because it's evidence of that.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I'm
but
saying?
it wasn't like a
But
big
so-
city
And
like
they
Chicago
like
or
living on the
Columbus.
coast. They're like probably living like near big,
Mississippi.
big water ports.
The Mississippi River,
Oh, of course.
and all of those, and like the water places, and like the Mississippi River. They said it's a lot of
native.
Native American activity, and that's where a lot of Native Americans settled in that.
Right.
And then around those other
Right,
rivers,
you
the
wanna
Ohio
be- you
rivers
wanna
and
be
stuff like
around- I
that.
bet you that those was like city type.
Right, and that's what I'm
Wow.
saying. And those was like they had to be populated
Come and just set up
100,000
shop right there.
or so.
Man,
You know,
for sure,
you know what I'm saying. So,
for sure.
and then when they up around Chicago area, it was a lot of they'll tell you though, if you go back and you read this stuff, It'll tell you
The
like,
cities in America are still named after
They are.
Indians.
Yeah.
They are.
All of them.
yeah, yeah,
All of these are like most of the stuff in Ohio. A lot of it is, man. Seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, this is a lot of native land. You ever been to the native grounds over
Because
there?
they had these lands and it was established back then. The names and stuff was established. The trade lines, the trade routes was established already, and they just adopted those because when they first came over, that was their strategy is to
Have
be
you ever been
friendly.
to the Native American
The mountain.
Watch Village?
Nah,
They got like
It's right here.
teepees
Yeah.
and stuff.
yeah, nah. Like the teepees and stuff came from like the people like they brought some Somalians over. I think they was from
You don't think they came from Native Americans?
they
I mean,
they
like
came
built
from
not,
nah,
not
like-
a
like,
nigga, but they're
Oh,
like
no,
a
I
little
know.
hut,
like they brought
It
this
was
tribe
nice.
over here from Alaska.
and mounds.
And no, like yeah, and the tribe over here from Africa, I mean from Alaska, was like they were like lighter and they were like more of a Somalian, and those were the tribes that lived in teepees and they followed the buffalo.
Yeah.
They followed the buffalo up and down the plain because they didn't
They were the East Russians.
East Russians, yeah, they came out of Alaska, out of that Alaska area.
So you're saying they're not American Native people?
No, they're not American.
So the Native people who can trace their nativeness are in there, and they can talk about how their parents were put in boarding schools to erase their history. What you're telling me is y'all believe that not to be true?
No, I'm telling you that these
What do these people look like that you say was in these boarding schools and stuff?
They look like what?
Americans.
They look like Native Americans.
Us? No, they look like us.
No, they don't look like me.
Okay.
No, the people that she's talk about, like those, like what I read though for those what I read for those.
So now I'm shitting on them.
Well, this is what I read.
You don't
like,
come
this
from
is
here.
what, this
You're
is
not
what I
native
was
to this. You come from Alaska.
the research that I got
I want to be you.
from that those people that's the Indians
I
that
just don't like that.
look like white people or like
That we gonna
the
tell people
pale
where they're
Indians.
from. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying this is
I don't do
what
that. You know what I'm saying? Claim who you are, but you don't tell a group of people that what they have traced back is not true and you're lying. Because I want this land and I want to claim it. That sounds like white folks.
You got to think Alaska wasn't even part of the United States then.
I didn't say
Russia.
nothing about Alaska.
So it's just like California wasn't part of the United States. It was Russia.
Well, we talk about the native United States. So
And that's
if
what I'm talking about.
your family had land in California,
California was Russia too.
Yes. Putin,
No.
when though? When? Hold on. What time period? What time period?
Putin was talking about acquiring Russia and Alaska back. That's what the whole.
What time period? You said California
You said-
too, though.
You said California.
Look at parts of the majority of California and Alaska.
I'm gonna Google that. When did Russia own? Since you don't know.
Were considered Russian territory.
bro, like from when I was the research that I've done, like those people were in the
Putin said he
plains.
gonna get it back. Are you crazy?
Those
man?
people were in the plains and they followed the buffalo.
Bro, you know he's not. He's. I mean, now
I
come
know,
on now.
but I'm just saying he's talking about he want to acquire it back. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Like that's what I read. Like those people followed the buffalo. They really didn't have a culture like a real rich culture.
So they had
didn't
a
have
base in
food.
California, but they didn't own California.
They didn't have like real food,
Russian
natural authentic
American.
food. They didn't have
They-
real culture,
But
art,
it
and
wasn't
stuff
Russians
like that.
or Americans. It was Russian American because they had forts there. They set up shop for trade.
Yeah, that's what they
they
did
didn't
back
know.
then,
Right.
and
You
that's
gotta
how
say,
they.
like, we gotta watch our words.
That's
We
how
gotta
they
watch
took
who-
the
because that's how you
native
lead
people.
down the wrong.
That's how they set up in this
They-
land.
We
Yeah.
interpreted
Base
things
there.
how
We
we
got
wanted
bases
to interpret
everywhere.
it.
But that's how they set up in this land when they came over here, like in all these different states and stuff like that, and amongst these tribes, because they'll put a fort over here, like they'll come and stick a fort in America, or go put a fort in Oklahoma, and they have forts in Texas or forts in Nevada, but they really didn't control that land.
Yeah.
So, but those forts were for trading posts for the natives, so the natives can come and trade with Americans.
So you
Or
don't
with-
believe that they are dark? So okay. if I'm sitting here and I am of a darker complexion, dark, like a little bit darker than you, and I'll say, my people, I trace my mother's genealogy and she was native to this land. And then a person lighter than me, maybe looks a little mixed, like white and black mix, says, I chase my genealogy, I'm Native American. You'll believe the black person, but not her?
Who, me?
Yeah, I'm asking.
I believe both.
So, because what I'm saying is, to say that, because he asked the complexion, to say that your complexion determines whether you have Native American blood in you is silly when this place was colonized and we all been mixed. And if you don't think no African, no Native, no colonized, no European has ever mixed and created offspring, that happened a lot. That's why if you trace some of your genealogy, you'll see that your people come from different places. If you go back far enough, because when you colonize or when you invade, guess what? God made us that we love each other, and you look sexy. I don't care if you're a white woman, black. And you don't think they made it more often than not and had mixed kids? Like, for us to say that depending on your complexion, I'll believe whether you're native to this land or not, is kind of like fucked up.
So who's the native people that you was talking about? Who's the native people?
I'm talking about the native people, how their skin looks, how their hair looks, how really how my grandfather looked. My skin is not like his. It's not like, it's different. You know what I'm saying? But so I show up more of my black side. So I'm just saying, like, I wish that we would just all accept people's stories and say, that's dope, instead of trying to negate that, because we're not a monolith. All these things can be true.
Right.
Because that's
there's a lot of different white nationalities as well. They have different histories. They got different cultures. They come from different geographical locations. So black people can be even more diverse. And some was already here in America. Some was from Africa. Some was like, one thing that we can't deny is that there are black people in Africa. I
think we should probably focus more on tribes instead of nationalities and color.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? We'll probably get a more detailed.
But that's why the system is set up like that for race, so we could continue to judge each other based off the color of our skin. To say, and that's why we
new colorism, ain't it?
It is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I think as black people, or as melanated and copper colored people, we should
as a brown person like that one lady,
as melanated people and copper colored, I think we should be focusing on tribes, and we should get back to that and try to figure out what tribe are we from.
Focus on. How about we?
Man, we will.
What if we?
Because you know why? Because most nationalities.
Tribes now.
Hold on, no, what? Yeah,
we've created
most nationalities.
American culture is black culture.
Can trace people that can trace their stuff. They can trace their stuff back to their tribe.
True, on one side,
right? If you can trace your stuff back, you can
trace back so many.
You can go back to a tribe.
I'm guaranteed all of us are mixed.
And we're a mixed tribe, but at the same time, tribes can start. A tribe can start with you.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what our last names are.
So that's what I'm saying. So like, if we go back to that, we can go back to that.
I know.
And then with this information,
none of my kids
that's how we.
Last name.
That's how we start to create our identity
it's not popular.
over here.
I need to go back.
That's crazy though, man. My kids should all like come together and just take this last name, and then we could have our tribe set. But they gonna carry on different, man.
With a different tribe, I'm under a different tribe. That's why last names represents too our tribe, the tribe that we
I
from.
named them all myself.
So and people that don't realize that, like, our last names represents the tribe that we're from,
or our slave masters' last name.
I don't think that's true.
Okay.
No, because this
now
is
you're
why.
acting like Phil.
So let me tell you why. Because for most people, I'm gonna say for most people.
Yeah, just say
I don't
for
think
your
that's
people. Don't say it's not true for somebody who said, I got my name from Like his grandmother married
Right,
the
right,
slave
like that.
master, and now
Like-
she acquired his name.
Exactly.
Right.
So for a lot of slaves, they did that. But I've also read that slaves, when slavery was emancipated, that slaves created their own last
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
So they may have took a name Williams or
I hear
Smith,
what you're saying. Touche.
and then
Touche.
so
Yeah.
all our last names didn't come from our slave master.
And
I
who
get
did
that.
they go to get this name granted? They just made up a name?
Yeah,
So when they went and had a baby, they just named the baby
Yeah.
without no paperwork.
yeah.
Because you know, Madam, you could change your name now. Like Madam C.J. Walker, that wasn't her name.
Her name wasn't Madam.
No, she. Are you being?
No,
I'm saying none of that was her
understand
name.
I
She
just-
changed her name. You know,
I
like
wonder did they? The only reason why I'm saying like I don't know. I hope they did. You know, I mean that sounds reasonable. I would have done it, but it just like with all of the court shit, and you gotta pay, and you gotta do this.
They
you
have
gotta
to do
get-
all that.
yeah,
back
I don't
then?
think they can. I don't think.
They didn't have birth certificates. Birth certificates just came on the scene not too long ago.
But
Slaves didn't have.
Let's see.
They
I
got
think it's like
1930 something.
yeah,
1930 something.
yeah. Birth certificates hadn't been around for too long. My grandmother probably didn't have a birth certificate.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
It was
You
just a
just know
document
what your
on the
name-
census, maybe.
Yeah.
Name on the census.
Yeah.
Because
And again, if that's the case, it's kind of hard sometimes to say, if I can't even trace my stuff back, now what? Because maybe they erased
because all
me.
you can use is census records and
And what if I didn't?
Right.
What if I didn't?
Didn't they do marriage records before 1930?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they had, I mean, I don't know. I guess you just go by the census with documentation, but I had like military records and
Yeah, military, anything
like
government.
land deeds and
Yeah, government stuff.
it was like all type of stuff. Like they got like a little package of everything. That
So
this
when was the
person
first
listed
government
on.
started?
Our government. When was our government started? In 17.
So you're telling me before that you couldn't have a land deed?
Not in America.
You couldn't have what in America?
So how did people own land?
They just.
Said
It was
this is-
tribes. We was under tribes.
No, I'm saying in the 1600s when we weren't under tribes, right?
What?
So in the 1600s, how did you document that this was your land?
In the 1600s. Basically the king. It was coming from.
That's not true.
Okay.
So you're telling me
It's called what was the deed? It's called the Allah something deed.
so it was a deed though.
But it didn't come from America. It came from Britain.
So I'm in America, and I'm writing a letter or getting on my
The
boat or
authority
whatever to
came
go
from-
to Britain. Say
The
these
actual
are the-
paperwork.
These are this is
The actual paperwork
longitude
probably
and
didn't
latitude
come from
points
Britain.
in which I found this land. You get to tell me if I own it.
But the actual paperwork probably didn't come from Britain, but the authority over that came from Britain. The person that says that, okay, Ahava has this much land, and
But
now
didn't I
can-
come here for
I
religion?
want to see a good movie from the standpoint of when the settlers first landed to them coming into.
so we can have a good narrative on how to good history, because that's what the movie gonna do. It's gonna basically rewrite history and basically say this is
Why
how it
can't you
was
just read it?
back then.
I mean, I can, but I just would like a visual, man, to see,
Yeah.
because I don't think that the story gets told from the natives' perspective.
It doesn't.
I wanted to. Be
How
told
can
from-
it though? Yeah.
And I would like to figure out about how many natives was in this land when the settlers arrived.
Man, you can-
said 2 million.
I don't think it was. I think it was way more than 2 million. Because I read a story where they talk about some. They went and slaughtered the tribe that had 20,000 people in one tribe, and this was just, you know what I'm saying, just
Right.
one group of people,
How
20,000.
they do that? 20,000?
Yeah,
How they do it? 20,000?
Because we write
yeah. It was.
What? How many people could come from England? How many people came from England to America?
They came as peasants.
Over on the boats.
They
I don't know. They were coming in like 20 at a time or something like that. 10, 20 at a time.
10 or 20 people?
Yeah. something like that.
These wasn't architects and everything else that came over
This
here.
shit is
These
so
was
weird.
people that
Life
they
is
didn't-
weird.
that
I'm
wasn't
just trying to
owners.
figure out the numbers. How could you
40,
come over
but on the
and
boat. I
number-
ain't gonna say at the time. I'm talking about on the boat, like 20 people on the boat. You probably had about three boats, 4 boats or whatever.
I wonder how long it took to drive our cruise or whatever
Yeah,
from England to America. They said black people from Africa
It
took
probably-
6 weeks.
yeah,
So how
probably
long?
about that.
6 weeks.
I'm gonna say about that. Yeah.
They said the first deed was recorded in 1627.
That's
Where?
what I'm trying to tell you, man. Everything was
America.
already documented.
By who?
Everything was documented.
Americans.
Everything is documented.
I'm saying in Virginia.
Oh, I didn't go to that.
Yeah, because that's what I'm saying. These authorities came from over there. They said, okay, when they came over here and they was claiming this land, they was staking claim to this land, and no one, they had these tribes on there. They'll say these legalese is what they called them. They said these legalese in front of these indigenous people. These people didn't know what the hell they was saying and what they was talking about, but they was basically staking claim to this land, and
They looked around like, don't nobody live here? Shit, we gonna take this.
No,
land.
they
Don't
looked
nobody
around
live
and
here."
said, I'm going to take it. I see who lives here.
Right.
I'm going to try to enslave them. They ain't
Well,
going to
that's
go.
what I'm saying though. Like, how can you move in somebody's house and say you own it?
because when they
That's what
first
they
got
did.
here,
That was
the indigenous people was helping them survive. They came to them and they was helping them survive because they'll lose in the wintertime. They'll lose like half of their crew. You know what I'm saying? And the native people already knew how to survive, so they would take them in and help them survive. And then what happened was they turned on these people.
They did what they
They
did.
turned on the native people once they got enough people over here, and they building up. First time they came with 40, they lost 20 over the winter, and then the next time they came with another 40. Next time they only lost 20 again or 10 over the winter. You know what I'm saying? Then they came with another 40, and then they lost another. You know what I'm saying? But then they built themselves up, and they was trading and bringing stuff that the natives never seen before,
Didn't you learn
and trading with them people.
Did you learn about the history at Rice State when you went that story, or did you just learn about like the century, like
I learned
before
more
the
about,
foundation of
And they set up a fort.
ancient history? Story?
They set up a fort in the little
I
area.
mean, I've heard this. I've heard
Yeah.
what
I'm
they
just-
did.
what
Then
I'm
they start
saying
killing
is,
the people
what I'm
around
gonna
them.
ask you is this: when
It
you
just
read,
still don't seem right.
They was wiping out the natives around them. They was like the people that was close to them. They would integrate and then just start killing them slowly and expanding their territory. Like they're
They
just
was occupying land that we wasn't living on.
man, they would kill these people.
We wasn't living in New York.
Yes, it was, but it was tribes
you
over
had
there.
to because
had-
it's by water. All
Right,
the
they had
coastal,
tribes, and New York is a man-made port. New York was already a man-made port when they got there, so it was somebody there. If you look up New York. It's a man-made port. It's a natural. They say it's a natural port, but it's not.
What is the natural?
You can look up
What is the
Ellis
port?
Island.
Where you can dock ships at.
So all ports are man-made, no?
Yeah,
You can look up.
So
but they
why
said
you
New
say-
York is a. But they said New York
What does
is
it mean to be a natural port, though? I don't get that.
right, but it's not a natural. But they just said it's a natural port,
'Cause that don't make sense.
but it's man-made, and it was there.
Let's come take a picture with us.
And it was there. It was there when they got there.
Look up Ellis Island. That's all I gotta
We
say.
already know what Ellis.
We already know what Ellis Island. I'm talking about you saying that it wasn't occupied, but New York.
Was not the native people was not living in New York.
It may not have been the natives, but it was occupied by somebody. I think it was the Moors.
How did they come over? How did they, did they come discover land that wasn't occupied?
Who?
Wasn't living
Who
in
was
New
that?
York.
Usher,
We wasn't living in
video
New
on
York.
Usher and
New
Dave
York was
Chappelle.
deemed unsafe, just
It's
like
got,
that's why it's
like-
sinking now.
It's got some views.
That's why they had to build that port.
We taking a
Right,
bit.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
New
I'm
York
trying to
was
get this.
designed only to be an entry, like the processing.
Yeah,
But we was still over there